are.
Well, it says that it hasn't loaded yet, but just in case.
It's going to cut out probably for a little bit and then come back. Oh, wait, no. So.
All right. I believe now we are live on LinkedIn, although I can't see. It redirected me to LinkedIn.
Gibson is live right now.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yes, you're live on LinkedIn, baby. Here we are.
Okay, so this is the first time we have ever gone live on LinkedIn. How great. So hello to everyone that follows me on LinkedIn. I have to say, in my history of social media, I've done many lives on Facebook, never on LinkedIn. And so if you only are connected with me on LinkedIn, it's a pleasure to be with you. And I'd love to introduce you to Love Out Loud's incredible COO and my assistant, Tyrone, and COO, Marissa. Maybe you guys just want to take a moment to introduce yourself, and then we'll make our special announcement regarding Summit coming up over the next few days.
Greetings, everyone. What a time to be alive, and what a time to be in conversations around architecting and creating a civilization of love. Super excited to be with you all and to meet some of you for the first time and to reconnect with some old friends. I spent the last 15 or so years studying exponential technologies and their impact on society and every industry, and importantly, what we as humans can do to use these technologies to enable us to be even better humans. So I'm delighted to have joined forces with Nick and the team at Love Out Loud, and especially with the technology that is being built now for next year and beyond.
Thank you, Marissa.
Hi, community. I'm so happy to sort of connect with all of you. I'm looking forward to sort of supporting all of you and answering any questions that you guys have when we go live for the summit. And yeah, I'm Nick's EA. So yeah, basically looking forward to connecting with you all.
Thank you, guys. So to everyone that has been following the development of Global Unity Summit, there's been some very exciting onboarding calls, a lot of them actually that we've hosted over the past few weeks as a team. I think we're nearing probably about 30 onboarding calls with incredible minds, experts, wellness practitioners, thought leaders, scientists, entrepreneurs, VC representatives, and everything in between. And to give a little bit of background on where Summit started, because the last couple of years we've streamed it on Facebook. And so we're making the move and made the decision this year to stream it live here on LinkedIn and YouTube if you're watching us there as well. So we want to expand the message out to make it available to as many of you as possible. But historically, when Summit started, we wanted to create a bit of a counter conversation during the US election in 2020, because we noticed as a community, Love Out Loud is a community of people that it has historically extended across 40 countries. And so it's very incredible and insightful to lead a community that has so much diversity, but the common thread of our community is this value of love and compassion and building a loving and compassionate world together. You get to really see so many different intersections of humanity come together. And what we could see is how the divisiveness of how the media was having some of these conversations politically and everything else that we were going through as a world, the amount of fear, anxiety, uncertainty that was so present amongst people over the past few years. We wanted to create a space where we invited incredible minds that have given a lot of decades of thought to these sorts of ideas, philosophies, conversations, and open up that and make it available to you guys. And we had this incredible success come out of the first summit, which looks like a massive reach of over 30,000 of you all joining us from around the world throughout Summit. And this incredible theme that although each speaker had something very unique to say, there was this unified message that unity is actually not about all believing and thinking the same thing. Unity is about developing our capacity as a human being to expand our willingness to hear each other and meet each other, even in our differences. And when we can master this as a species with acceptance, with compassion, with love, with understanding, we naturally will create more unification in our world. And what a powerful message that was. And so we've decided to run it every year since. And this year, as we were having these onboarding calls with speakers, we recognized that we're living in extremely unprecedented times where these conversations are so important, they cannot be rushed, and they're highly and extremely, in some cases, sensitive conversations that deserve to be handled with mindfulness, presence, care, consideration, and proper curation. And so we actually are now seeing the 3 days of summit being the 10th to the 12th if you're in Australia, or the 9th to the 11th if you're in the US, as just the beginning of these conversations, an opportunity to connect with our speakers, to introduce them to you all. And our intent is to actually curate ongoing conversations and invite you into those conversations as we move into 2023, so that we actually have time and space to break down what some of these perspectives mean to us, mean to you, and how you want to implement this new awareness into your friendships, families, businesses, your styles of leadership, and your general everyday decision making. That's really important, that we have a lasting impact. And so, Em, I'm not sure if you have something to share on that.
Yeah, and what a great intro. And it's, as I reflect on what Global Unity Summit has been and where it came from, and this being my first year with the event, I'm going, oh my gosh, like so many of these highly charged, polarized conversations still exist, which, you know, in one sense, unfortunate because they still exist. And then in another, fortunate because there's been all this kind of pent up energy of people wanting to have these kinds of conversations in a space where we can heal and start to really build bridges instead of continue the divisiveness. So building on that, you know, next year, and as we evolve Global Unity and this whole initiative, there are a variety of different spaces we'll be doing. Hey, you mute over there. And so there'll be conversations, but then there'll also be listening sessions with the community and practical, tactical workshops. You mentioned bringing these conversations into your families, your teams, your lives. We've all had a lot of experience with online events over the last few years, and what we're wanting to bring to the table is something that feels like a refreshing breath of fresh air, and importantly, some tools of empowerment, so that we as individuals can start to affect change where we are and build from there.
So I think you raise a really good point here, which we've definitely seen, you know, in the other summits we've run, is like actually how much we want to have these conversations so often, as people, you know, even if it's just simply around our dinner table with family members that have different viewpoints, or we want to be able to have constructive conversations that don't just end in conflict, because we're not able to hear well now, where echo chambers are surrounding us all the time, and it's becoming really difficult to stretch ourselves into the discomfort of being able to hold space for those that we fundamentally don't agree with. But I guess the key question that has driven the conversations that we've had in Summit since that very first one has been, can we actually hold a space of love and compassion for each other, even when those differences are present, and what will that take? And we've given a lot of consideration to how we want to curate the types of conversations we have this year, and we've chosen the tracks of health, education, economics, leadership, and technology, because we see these as the key pillars of actualizing Love Out Loud's vision to bring forward a civilization of love by 2030. And I think it would be amazing, if you could even share with these guys some of the speakers that we have lined up. Obviously, you can all go to the globalunitysummit.com and check it out for yourself, and make sure you click that registration link, because it's going to allow you to have consistent updates, especially as we have these action-based sessions moving forward and listening sessions moving forward. That's the best way to stay connected. But in lieu of that, even just now announcing some of the headline speakers we have, because it is quite rare to have minds like these guys all being willing to be of service and give their time to the message of global unity.
Well, I love that the first leader we'll be hearing from on Friday here in the US, Saturday morning for you all, is none other than Naveen Jain, who I knew for many years through Singularity and Abundance and all of his efforts with Viome in transformation, but he has been part of the Global Unity Summit community before. So it was so fun. That was one of the very first individuals to say yes was Naveen. And what I'm excited about, especially, and of course, you guys have had all the conversations about what's going to be happening on Friday, but for me, watching Naveen and his teams and his family, frankly, transform humanity, just problem by problem. There is no moonshot that they're not tackling. And as an individual, it can feel so almost paralyzing sometimes. Like, there are so many big, enormous challenges out there. What can I do to do anything that will make a dent? And for me personally, I always learned something from Naveen in that regard. And so I'm very, very excited for that. And then we meet, and then talk about who we're going to meet next.
Next after Naveen, we've got, hold on. I wish I knew it off by heart. I think just whilst I'm getting this up, Emma, if you could just read out some of the names that we have listed there on the landing page, just to give the audience an understanding of who will be speaking whilst
Totally.
and they are speaking. Yeah,
totally. So you're going to meet our friends Tommy Gallant and Henry Bolton from Frequency Technologies. They make the amazing Focus Band EEG headset. And they're using it with a ton of high performance athletes and teams. We're going to hear from Yannick Silver and of Maverick 1000. We will be with Dr. David Haase of Maxwell Clinics, Eni Selfo, head of community at Mind Valley, Chang Shi, the founder and CEO of Momi, the Web3 startup. We'll also be with Faze Nazarali from High Vibe Network, our buddy. Melinda Whitstock, founder and CEO of Podopolo, just revolutionizing how podcasts are sourced, how content is consumed, and really just breaking new ground in terms of how we interact and engage with media.
What a lineup. And then we have Kelly Kimball and Marqueza from a very incredible fund that's just pioneering the way to support women in entrepreneurship called F5. That's how I personally connected with them and their work. It's cool to see the level of diversity and the intersection that exists in these really diverse streams of conversation, to see people that are working in health so diligently, have so many shared passions with people that are working in technology, people that are thought leaders in leadership. We've got Steve from LPS joining us and John Kurt, two who are masters of community development. Steve has created a love-based leadership model that he's presented and engaged the UN with. And so his work is seriously world-class when it comes to heart-based leadership. John has historically worked with supporting homelessness in communities throughout the UK with incredible success, using very unconventional methods that are centered around love and compassion. So humanizing these systems, the speakers we have speaking on health, their passion is anchored in the question, how do we humanize the system of health? How do we take systems from this very technical way of thinking about systems design and development and put the human in the middle? And how and why is that important as we're increasing exponentially in our technological advancement as a humanity? Why is it important to keep the human spirit core to the types of design thinking that we bring to the table as we progress forward. And so these conversations are not to be missed, and our intent is to have this be a two-way conversation with you. We want you to participate as much as you can live. If you register at the globalunitysummit.com, you will get the formal schedule, which will do a much better job at breaking down the times for you than I did just then. And so as much as you possibly can, join us live so that you can comment, you can ask questions. Whoever is moderating the session, I myself am moderating a lot of the sessions over those days. I'll be reviewing the live stream. I'll be looking at your questions. It's an amazing opportunity to be in a conversation that I sense so many of you probably have wanted to be a part of, but you just haven't really known where to start, how to have the conversation, how to get beneath people's defenses, and create an open, safe space for these kinds of discourses to occur. So if you're a leader in particular that leads a team and you want to know how to be more present and sensitive to the diversity in your teams, if you want to know how to bring human-centered design and unified thinking into your frameworks as an organization, these are the sorts of conversations you want to be in, and we'd love for you to be participating live as much as you possibly can over those days and beyond.
And honestly, if you are a little tired of all of the news articles and media about things that are going wrong, things that are breaking, old systems that are crumbling before our eyes, fraud, corruption, crime, fear, take a break and join us and meet some of our friends and some of our colleagues, and learn about what people are doing to try to make better ways and create better ways for us to work, live, and play. I mean, those for me, when I feel like things are going terribly, I just need to remind myself that there are millions of people around the world right now who are actively trying to make the world a better place. And this is part of the conversation, is showing and sharing those examples of real humans who are out in the world doing extraordinary things.
Amen to that. That's it. Final comments for these guys to be left with.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah.
Join us on Friday if you're in the US, Saturday if you all are in Australia and abroad. We're so excited to just get the conversation started and to be with you through all of this.
And make sure you register so that you can identify the best places to join us live. Other than that, see you then. And a very special thank you to in particular, our sponsor, Podopolo, who's going to be supporting the ongoing streaming of these conversations as we move forward. All of the speakers that have generously given your time to Love Out Loud's mission and cause, and we know that that's shared both ways, or please know that it is shared both ways. And of course, our community and every single person that will be joining us as we move forward. Thank you.